Good morning. Welcome to Plugged In. More from the book of Hebrews and the Old Testament right after this. Hey, we're glad to have you back with us. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving break. Ate a lot of turkey and pumpkin pie and whatever else. I see Peter in the background nodding his head like, yes, he did very well on that part. So did I. Beautiful day. It's a little cold. That's all you're getting for the weather forecast today. It's going to be cold this week. So a short story to get us going in the direction I want us to be thinking about today. This happens back in 1937. It's with the architect Frank Lloyd Wright. He had built a house for an industrialist. That's hard to say early in the morning. An industrialist by the name of Hibbard Johnson. One rainy evening, Johnson was entertaining some guests for dinner when the roof began to leak. The water seeped through directly above Johnson himself, dripping steadily on his bald head. He became a little irate and he called Wright, who was living in Phoenix, Arizona. "Frank," he said, "you built this beautiful house for me, and we enjoy it very much. But I have told you the roof leaks, and right now I am with some friends and distinguished guests, and it is leaking right on top of my head." Wright's reply was this: "Well, Hib, why don't you move your chair?" Just a simple lesson on common sense. It seems as if we live in a culture right now in which common sense is not as common as it once was. The definition for common sense basically goes this way: it is good sense and sound judgment in practical matters. Now, I was thinking about this yesterday when I was writing this up, and I got to thinking of two phrases that we will use or that will be said to us in connection to common sense. For example, if someone is practicing common sense, we might say, "That's using your head." But if someone does not use common sense, we might ask the question, "What were you thinking?" Now, if you've ever read the story of Jacob and Esau and how it came about that Isaac gave the blessing of inheritance to Jacob, who was actually born second from the twins. He and Esau were twins, but Esau was born first. You would be maybe tempted when you get to heaven to ask Esau, "What were you thinking?" If you want to take some time to read their story, it appears in Genesis chapter 27. In chapter 25, we read a little bit about their situation. It says this: that the boys grew up, and Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the open country, while Jacob was a quiet man, staying among the tents. Esau liked to be out and about. Jacob was a homebody. Isaac, who's their dad, he had a taste for wild game, so he loved Esau, kind of like it was his favorite. Rebekah, she loved Jacob. He was more of a homebody, maybe a mama's boy, not really for sure. There are some things that indicate later he wasn't that weak of an individual. But once, when Jacob was cooking some stew, Esau came in from the open country, and he was famished. And he said to Jacob, "Quick, let me have some of that red stew. I'm famished." And Jacob replied, "First, sell me your birthright." Ooh, Jacob might have been a homebody, but he was quick on the draw. He was thinking ahead. And here's what happened. Esau said, "Look, I'm about to die. What good is the birthright to me?" But Jacob said, "Swear to me first." So he swore an oath to him, selling his birthright. And then here's what the last part of that story reveals. It'll show up here on your screen. Jacob then gave Esau some bread and some lentil stew. He ate and drank and then got up and left. So Esau despised his birthright. Just a little bit of background about the importance of the birthright. It was a special honor given to the firstborn son. Now, what it did is it included a double portion of the family inheritance, along with the honor of one day becoming the family's leader. The older son could sell his birthright, or he could give it away if he even chose. But in so doing, he would lose both the material goods and his leadership position. By trading his birthright for a bowl of stew, Esau showed complete disregard for the spiritual blessings that would have come his way if he had kept it. Esau, in a moment of physical weakness, did not use common sense. When faced with an important decision, he leaned toward immediate satisfaction rather than to be patient and wait for the blessings. As we wrap our time up this morning, I ask that you allow me to ask you a few questions to just ponder about in your life. Here's one of them. What are you willing to trade for the things you want? Here's another one. Do you find yourself at times willing to negotiate anything for what you feel you need now? And here's the last one. Do you feel sometimes that you've missed out on the abundant life that Jesus promised you because you're pursuing something else? Be careful. Use common sense. For Esau, simple common sense would have kept the blessings in his favor, but he gave it away, and as a result, Jacob would then have the birthright. And we'll talk more about that next week. Thank you again for joining us. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next Monday on Plugged In.